All right, here we're another week, and another fantasy fishing event. This is kind of crazy. This week, Harris Chain, Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit, MLF. They're actually starting the tournament on a Sunday. I think the 13th is a Sunday, and it goes till Wednesday. Super weird. Another reason that's hard to follow MLF Fantasy Fishing because they have inconsistent schedules, back-to-back, all kinds of events. But this is stop number 2 for the MLF Tackle Warehouse Pro Circuit Fantasy Fishing. They had the first one back on Rayburn several weeks ago, and now we've had 3 BPT events in a row, and now we're back to the Pro Circuit. Looking at the overall leaderboard, it says I'm like 4,973 out of how many? What percentile? I have no idea. It looks like I'm like 125 pounds out of first, so that's kind of interesting. Hard to really understand how far you're back, how that's going to work out. I guess we'll have to see that once we get a few tournaments under our belt and if we can move up. By extrapolating how many people are in the Tackle Warehouse group and that I'm at the 41 percentile, I feel like there's about 12,000 people playing after the first event. You can see your score, the history of the game, but you can't really see how the leaders did, who the best picks were, but you can see how many pounds you got, and we can see that Mark Daniels hosed me by not showing up for the first event on Rayburn, so I'd be worried about picking him on future events. Jumping over to the Beat HellaBass League. Looking at the leagues, 190 members. I'll have links to all my leagues down below in the description, so go ahead down in there and you can find links and the way to get in there, even though it's convoluted and not easy to get into. Join the league so you can play for a year-end prize pack from Super K Jigs. Some of the best swim jigs made, handmade, hand-tied in Wisconsin. So for those of you who like to buy USA goods, Super K might be the jigs for you. And if you can't wait to see if you win till the end of the year, you can always use code HellaBass15, link and code down in the description. Now, let's get into talking about the Harris Chain. Harris Chain, now, if you remember, the Elite Series was just there a few weeks ago, just 2 weeks before the Classic. So we've got about a month now since they've been there. Buddy Gross won an offshore. There was some betting fish, but that really didn't dominate. I think that continues to play this week. I think betting fish will play, but I don't think the winner is going to win by sight fishing alone. I think you'll have some big bags. Maybe the first day there'll be some guys that catch some real big ones on beds and mix up some other things, but I think it's going to be a mixture of fishing and offshore, grass, hard spots, things like that will dominate this Harris Chain event for a 4-day event. Here are the leaders. Jody White from MLF himself is leading the overall and the Beat HellaBass group. Others in the group, you can see John Andrews, Scott Pitlick, and a few others. You guys are all in good position to get yourself some Super K jigs by the end of the year. All right, going to break down my roster. Flight 1 and Flight 2. I'm going Spencer Sheffield just because he is just elite right now, fishing at the top of the game. I think he's a catch him everywhere. Laramie Strickland won the event last time they're here. Here are some results, and you can go and find this tournament from the 2020 Pro Circuit where they fished just a few weeks earlier on the Harris Chain. So this is a good data point if you're looking for a lot of the anglers that are still in this field that did well. These guys could be good to do some research on if you're looking to do some research. Jimmy Washam took second in that event. Jared McMillan, a Florida hammer, does well on all the Florida lakes. And Ron Nelson, another guy, much like Spencer Sheffield, catches him everywhere he goes. So I expect big things from him. Even though he had a tough tournament at Rayburn, I expect him to bounce back and have a good event. And he's a guy I think you can pick every single tournament. John Cox, he's been crushing it. Had a decent finish at Rayburn. He had 2 really good elite events and a good start to the Day 1 Classic, but he's been so good for me in the Bassmaster Elite Series Fantasy Fishing. I'm going to keep going with him and picking him in my MLF Fantasy Fishing as well. Bobby Lane, Florida guy, through and through, catches him everywhere in Florida. Keith Carson is pretty much almost his home water, so he is a guy that you probably don't want to not have on your list. Matt Steffen seems to be really consistent. A guy catches him everywhere. He almost catches the limit every single day in every single event. So he's a good safe pick, and he's had some good success in Florida and the Harris Chain at times. And Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan anglers seem to do well with the grass down in Florida. And lastly, we're going to anchor our team with Brandon McMillan, another Florida stud, more of an Okeechobee guy, but he seems to do okay on the Harris Chain as well. And what will the winner's day weight for the final event in a 5-fish format, because they do zero it on the final cut day? I'm going with 26 pounds, 2 ounces. I think somebody's going to bust a pretty big bag, but it'll probably drop after that. So that's my guess. Tackle Warehouse, the weight thing's a little more simpler than the BPT thing, which has caused a lot of confusion. At least if you have a group winner, he doesn't miss the knockout round. You might get less weight. The guy that wins may have less weight than the guy in 2nd through 4th. So this is a little more straightforward. The guy that wins this event should have the most weight almost, except for they zero the last day. So for the most part, but because there's a zeroing on the day 3 cut, the guy that wins it may not have the most weight. He should be pretty close. But there's really no bonuses for picking the winner. But so you really just want to get as many guys in the day 3 and day 4 cut as you can for the Tackle Royals Pro Circuit. I really wish MLF would make a few improvements to their fancy fishing, their website. I wish you could click on the names of these anglers and research them. I wish you could easily see what was the best teams from the previous tournaments and things like that. But hopefully this is just a starting point and things will be better. This back-to-back-to-back tournament has made fancy fishing less easy this year with all the events with BPT, Bassmaster, and the Pro Circuit. If you want to make sure you don't get caught up and not missing a tournament, make sure you hit the subscribe down below, hit that notification button, and I'll make sure to get videos out for every single event to help you not miss. And that way, if you're having a good season and good tournaments, you'll keep it going and win prizes from your leagues or from MLF. If you've had enough fancy fishing talk for today, make sure you check out this next video right here on how to make sure you don't lose your jackhammers.